Hello to everyone, and welcome back to Easy English Classroom. I'm Jason. Does your heart race when your phone rings and you know you have to speak English on the call? No face to read, no hands to gesture with, just your voice, and suddenly every word feels harder to find? Today, we're fixing that completely. By the end of this episode, you'll be able to make a call, answer a call, and even handle a bad connection, all in clear, confident English. Ready to stop dreading the phone?
And I'm Julie.
This is day 4 of Speak English in 30 Days, and today we're tackling phone calls in English.
Oh, phone calls are actually worse than face-to-face for me.
You're definitely not the only one who feels that way, and we'll get into exactly why in a minute. Today's numeric goal, 35 spoken sentences again, plus 5 essential phone phrases you can use on your very next call.
5 phrases for my next call. Okay, that's a clear goal.
Exactly. Let's jump in.
Okay, so here's my fear. When I'm talking to someone in person, I can see their face, I can read their expression, and somehow that helps me understand. But on the phone, I can't see anything. If I don't understand a word, I panic, and then I miss the whole sentence.
That is such a real, specific fear, and it's incredibly common. You're not alone in feeling that at all. Here's what's actually happening. In person, we get extra information from lips moving, facial expressions, even gestures. On the phone, we lose all of that, so our brain has to work harder using sound alone. That's not a weakness in your English, it's just a different skill that needs separate practice.
Oh, that actually makes me feel better. I thought something was wrong with my listening specifically.
Not at all. Even native speakers sometimes struggle on bad phone connections. The good news is, phone English also uses a smaller set of predictable phrases, which makes it easier to prepare for than you think.
Predictable phrases. Okay, now I'm curious.
Let's build that toolkit together right now. Let's warm up. Imagine you're answering the phone. What do you usually say first?
I say hello?
Good. Simple. Totally fine for casual calls. For slightly more formal calls, let's upgrade. Hello, this is Julie speaking.
Hello, this is Julie speaking.
Perfect. Next, if you can't hear the other person well, what do you say?
Say again, please.
Let's make it smoother. Sorry, could you say that again? The line's a bit unclear.
Sorry, could you say that again? The line's a bit unclear.
Excellent. Next, if you need to end the call politely, what would you say?
Okay, bye.
Let's expand. All right, I have to get going, but thanks so much for calling.
All right, I have to get going, but thanks so much for calling.
Beautiful. One more. If someone calls the wrong number, what do you say?
Wrong number, sorry.
Let's polish it. I think you might have the wrong number. Sorry about that.
I think you might have the wrong number. Sorry about that.
See how each one became smoother, more natural? That's the upgrade pattern working again. Let's go deeper. Julie, what's the very first part of almost every phone call, no matter the language?
I think saying hello and maybe saying who you are.
Exactly, the greeting and the introduction. In English, especially for business or formal calls, we usually say, "This is name" from company, or simply, "This is name." It's a small phrase, but it sets the whole tone of the call.
That's actually simpler than I expected.
It really is. Now, what usually comes right after the introduction?
Maybe asking why they're calling or saying why you're calling?
Exactly, the reason for the call. A great starter phrase is, "I'm calling about," or "I'm calling to ask about." Try completing this. "I'm calling about my order."
I'm calling about my order.
Perfect. Now, here's a useful grammar point. Notice we use calling here, present continuous, even though the call is already happening. That's because in English, we describe the current action of the call itself, not the action as completed. I'm calling to ask, not I called to ask, even mid-conversation.
Oh, I never noticed that pattern before.
Most learners don't until it's pointed out, and then it suddenly makes sense in every call. Now, what happens when the connection is bad, like the call is cutting out or breaking up?
I think I just say, I can't hear you, usually.
That works, but here's a smoother native version. "You're cutting out a little. Can you hear me okay?" Try that.
You're cutting out a little. Can you hear me okay?
Excellent. And here's a useful idiom related to this. When something is said very clearly and easily understood, we say it's coming through loud and clear. Like, yeah, you're coming through loud and clear now.
I love that phrase. It sounds so confident.
It really does. Now, what if you need someone to repeat something slower, not just louder?
Maybe, can you say it slower?
Close. Let's upgrade. Sorry, could you slow down a bit? I want to make sure I get everything.
Sorry, could you slow down a bit? I want to make sure I get everything.
That's such a polite, professional way to ask, perfect for both personal and business calls. Now, what about leaving a voicemail? What's the basic structure?
I think say who you are, why you're calling, and maybe ask them to call you back.
Exactly the right structure. A typical voicemail starter is, "Hi, this is speaker 2. I'm calling about, for talk. Could you give me a call back when you get a chance?"
Hi, this is speaker 2. I'm calling about the meeting tomorrow. Could you give me a call back when you get a chance?
That was completely natural. You didn't even hesitate, and you filled in a real example automatically.
I think because it felt like a clear template, I just trusted it.
That's exactly why templates work so well for phone English. Less improvising, more confidence. Let's practice with role plays. First scenario, calling a restaurant to make a reservation. I'll be the restaurant staff. "Hello, thank you for calling Bella Italia. How can I help you?"
Hi, I'd like to make a reservation for 2 people, please, for tonight if possible.
"Sure, what time were you thinking?"
Around 7 if you have a table available.
That was excellent. Clear, polite, and you naturally used "if possible" and "if you have," both great softening phrases for requests.
I felt pretty calm during that one, actually.
That's wonderful progress. Second scenario, your internet provider's customer service line. I'll be the support agent. "Hello, technical support. How can I assist you today?"
Hi, I'm calling because my internet has been really slow for the past 2 days.
"I'm sorry to hear that. Can I get your account number, please?"
Sure, just a second. Let me find it. Okay, it's right here.
Perfect handling. And "just a second, let me find it" is exactly how natural speakers buy themselves time on calls. Great instinct.
I didn't even plan that. It just felt natural to say.
That's shadowing and exposure working together. Third scenario, a friend calling just to chat, but the line keeps cutting out. I'll be your friend. "Hey, how's it? Sorry, can you? Hello?"
Hey, you're cutting out a little. Can you hear me okay?
"A little better now, yeah. Sorry about that."
No worries, that happens. So what's up?
That was such a smooth recovery. You used today's exact phrase naturally mid-conversation without forcing it.
I actually felt like that was a real situation, not just practice.
That's the entire goal of role play. Make it feel real before it actually happens to you. Time for our shadowing drill. I'll say it, you repeat it. Ready?
Ready.
"Hello, this is Julie speaking.
Hello, this is Julie speaking.
I'm calling about my recent order."
I'm calling about my recent order.
"Could you say that again, please?"
Could you say that again, please?
"You're cutting out a little. Can you hear me?"
You're cutting out a little. Can you hear me?
"Sorry, could you slow down a bit?"
Sorry, could you slow down a bit?
"Could you give me a call back later?"
Could you give me a call back later?
"I think you might have the wrong number.
I think you might have the wrong number.
Let me put you on hold for a second."
Let me put you on hold for a second.
"Thanks so much for calling. Have a great day.
Thanks so much for calling. Have a great day.
I'll call you back as soon as I can."
I'll call you back as soon as I can.
That's 10 more sentences. Combined with everything today, you've spoken well over 35 sentences once again.
I think phone calls actually feel manageable now with real phrases ready.
That readiness is exactly what removes the fear. Let's lock in today's vocabulary. First word, connection. The quality of the phone signal or link between two callers. The connection was really bad last night. Your turn.
Sometimes my internet connection is too weak for video calls.
Great example. Next, cut out. When sound suddenly stops or breaks during a call. "Sorry, you cut out for a second." Your turn.
My phone kept cutting out during the important part of the call.
Very relatable. Next, voicemail. A recorded message left when someone can't answer the phone. "Just leave a voicemail if I don't pick up." Your turn.
I always feel nervous leaving a voicemail in English.
Honest and useful. Next, hold, to wait on the phone while someone helps you. Can you hold for a moment, please? Your turn.
I had to hold for almost 10 minutes during customer service.
Excellent usage. Next, reservation, a booking, especially for a restaurant or hotel. We made a reservation for 8 o'clock. Your turn.
I always make a reservation before visiting a popular restaurant.
Lovely sentence. Next, assist, to help someone, often used formally. How can I assist you today? Your turn.
The staff was very quick to assist me with my problem.
Very natural and professional. Next, clear, easy to hear or understand. Your voice sounds really clear today. Your turn.
The teacher's instructions were really clear during the call.
Perfect. Last word, get going, an informal way to say you need to leave or end something soon. I have to get going. Talk soon. Your turn.
I usually say I have to get going when I want to end a long call politely.
That might be the most practical sentence of the entire episode. Quiz time. Question 1. Why is phone English sometimes harder than face-to-face English?
Because on the phone, you can't see facial expressions or lip movements, so your brain only has sound to understand the message.
Excellent answer. Question 2. What's a polite way to ask someone to repeat something on the phone?
You can say, "Sorry, could you say that again? The line's a bit unclear."
Perfect. Word for word even. Question 3. What's the basic structure of a good voicemail message?
You say who you are, the reason you're calling, and then ask them to call you back.
Great structure recall. Question 4. Can you use the phrase cutting out in your own sentence?
My call kept cutting out, so I had to call my friend back twice.
Very natural. Last question. How do you feel about phone calls now compared to the start of this episode?
Honestly, I feel a lot calmer. Having ready-made phrases makes phone calls feel much less scary than before.
Let's close with 5 tips for handling phone calls confidently in English. Prepare a short introduction phrase in advance. Hi, this is name, so you never freeze at the very start of a call. Keep a few repeat please phrases ready, like the ones we practiced today, instead of panicking when you miss a word. Don't be afraid to ask someone to slow down. Native speakers do this with each other too. It's completely normal. If your call has a predictable purpose, like a reservation or appointment, practice that specific phone template beforehand. And remember that bad connections happen to everyone, even native speakers. It's not a reflection of your English ability. Julie, how do you feel now compared to the beginning of today's episode?
Honestly, at the start, phone calls genuinely felt like one of my biggest fears in English. But now I actually have specific phrases ready for greetings, bad connections, and even voicemails. It feels so much more manageable.
That's such a meaningful shift. Let's recap what we covered today. 1. We warmed up with common phone phrases and upgraded each one. 2. We had a deep conversation about call structure, greetings, reason for calling, and handling bad connections, plus a useful idiom about clear sound. 3. We practiced 3 real-life role plays, a restaurant reservation, customer support, and a choppy call with a friend. 4. We shadowed 10 essential phone sentences. 5. We learned 8 new vocabulary words. And 6. We quizzed ourselves to lock everything in.
This might be the episode I needed the most, honestly. Phone calls have always scared me.
I'm really glad this helped, and that's day 4 of 30 complete. If today's episode made phone calls feel less intimidating, please like and subscribe. It helps so many more learners discover this series.
And here's your homework. Today, make one phone call in English if you can, even something simple like ordering food or asking a quick question. If that's not possible, practice the voicemail template out loud with your own real name and reason.
And leave a comment telling us what's your biggest phone call fear in English. We'd love to hear it, and we might cover it in a future episode.
Next is day 5, and we're diving into something super practical, asking for and giving directions.
See you then. Keep speaking, keep shadowing. Every call gets a little easier from here.
Bye, everyone.